We also glory in tribulations, knowing that tribulation produces perseverance, and perseverance, character, and character, hope. Romans chapter 5, verses 3 to 4. Welcome to another episode of the All Around Growth podcast. My name is Rob Kaiser, and I am your host. This is a show that is being produced with the intention of providing insight and tools to help us build the lives and homesteads of our dreams. Today is Thursday, July 8th, and this is episode number 146 of the show. And today's episode is inspired by a daily devotional called Strength for Today. It is called Strength for Character, or Strength of Character. And this devotional was kindly given to me by the associate pastor of our church, Pastor Karen. Without further ado, let's read from this as we go down the driveway. In the early 1900s, Jerry Sitzer lost his wife, mother, and young daughter in a single car accident caused by a drunk driver. Through his suffering, he has been able to encourage and help others. And in his book, A Grace Revealed, How God Redeems the Story of Your Life, he discusses how our character is formed through suffering. He says, "To be a person of character, then, is to exhibit the qualities Jesus Christ manifested while he lived on earth, whose suffering seasoned him and whose steady obedience made him strong and true, like a weathered tree. We mature in character primarily through some combination of testing and training. Christ suffered not only on the cross, but also throughout his life. The people of his hometown Nazareth mocked him. He was threatened multiple times by the religious leaders, and his disciples scattered after he was arrested in Gethsemane. Just as Christ endured suffering, so must we. Thankfully, our suffering isn't without a purpose. It is one of the ways God strengthens our character. While we would prefer a less painful way to grow more like Christ, the Bible teaches us that our suffering is working for us a far more exceeding and eternal weight of glory. It's from 2 Corinthians chapter 4:17. Take heart as you encounter suffering in this life, for Christ suffered as well and overcame it. This isn't intended to be a Christian podcast. But after some recent dialogue in the All Around Growth community, which you can be a part of too at t.me/allaroundgrowth, we recently found ourselves talking about our behavior and our strength of character and why we do the things that we do. And I thought it was interesting that today in the daily devotional that I've been reading to find strength for each and every day, and it's been helping to read things like that, to understand the nature of my own challenges and what they mean and how they impact me. Now, as I begin my mornings, the golden hour, I try to have quiet time and journal and read from devotionals just like that book. I also read from Rudder of the Day by Dan Miller, author of 48 Days to the Work and Life You Love. And today he writes, "First your thinking, then your life." I'll go ahead and drive. This is easily referenced in big text. And I will likely not pass very many cars on the way there either. So Today, the primary question that we begin the reading of the Rudder of the Day with is, are you letting inaccurate information determine the quality of your day? And he writes about this, he studied psychology, okay? So Dan Miller's background in psychology provides a lot of insight into finding the work that you love, finding the life that you love, and creating that if it's not something that's easily found. And that's why I'm such a big big fan of 48 Days and the community there, 48 Days Eagles. And I'll see if I can't link to that in the show notes as well, because it's good stuff. And if you're serious about changing your life, then surrounding yourself with people that are doing the same is a great way to lift yourself up and surround yourself with people who are on the same track or where you want to be. They can inspire you, motivate you, mentor you, and it's really fantastic. So it's highly recommended. I would definitely check it out. 48 Days Eagles. So he shared a story about his psychology in college, and I won't get into that, but one of the quotes that he referenced as he read was, "The greater part of our happiness or misery depends on our dispositions and not on our circumstances." And that's a quote by Martha Washington, and I thought that was really interesting because I've had some challenging times, or I've allowed some challenging times to impact me in a negative way. Now, life is full of challenge, and how we navigate through those challenging waters is really, the important thing, and something that bear with me one second here. There's a sheriff right next door. Why he's here, I don't know, but I lost my train of thought. So I'm going to reread that quote as we get over the tracks here, and we'll see if I can't reclaim that train of thought. Now, the greater part of our happiness or misery depends on our dispositions and not on our circumstances. Martha Washington. Now, I think where I was going with this is I've recently allowed some challenges in life, primarily at work, to affect me in a negative way. And like I said, life is full of challenge, and I have allowing myself to be affected by all of this, and like Martha Washington writes, the greater part of my happiness or misery depends on our disposition and not on our circumstance. And I've blamed a lot of my disposition on the circumstance, not on my disposition. And another quote, verse from Scripture: "As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he." Proverbs chapter 23, verse 7. Dan writes, "There is a lot of evidence that we can lead our thinking with our actions." There is a lot of evidence that we can lead our thinking with our actions. All right, listen closely one more time. There is a lot of evidence that we can lead our thinking with our actions. In teaching introductory psychology, I would challenge the students. Many would come to that first morning class with their heads down, shoulders drooping, and a frown on their face. It was obvious the kind of day they were anticipating. I would present the challenge to jump out of bed, walk with a spring in their step, pull those shoulders back, keep up with a smile, and see if by 10 a.m. they did not expect a great day. And before we take off from the stop sign, keep your face to the sunshine and you cannot see the shadow. It's what sunflowers do. Helen Keller. Someone else that writes about head up, shoulders back, walking with confidence is Jordan B. Peterson, Dr. Jordan B. Peterson. And the controversial figure that he is, there's a lot of value in the message that he shares. And I think that that's an important point to take away, because almost all people who've had wisdom to share have also been somewhat of a controversial figure in their own right, including, but certainly not limited to Jesus of Nazareth, Jesus the Christ. And the more I learn about religion, the more my stance on it hasn't changed, that religion and government are mechanisms of control. But nevertheless, I enjoy the involvement in the community of my church. I enjoy participating within the church and the activities, well, some of them at least, because there's only so much time in the day. But I enjoy engaging in activities within the church and within the community there. I enjoy engaging within my community. I enjoy engaging within the 48 Days Eagles community. And I enjoy engaging in the community that's being built within the all-around growth community, or group rather, on Telegram. t.me/allaroundgrowth is where you can join the group. If you're not on Telegram, it's a great messenger app. Easy to use. Very much functions like a native messenger app on your phone. But it's also got a desktop application. The file sharing, file saving is excellent within it. The ability to go back and search within the groups, within the dialogue that you've had with people is easy and efficient, and it works very well. So check it out. If you're not on it, highly recommend Telegram. You can participate in the All Around Growth group, along with many other groups as well. And if you are searching for something more in your life, and you are interested in connecting with people who are on a similar track and interested in finding a coach or mentor who has a detailed, outlined plan who's done this time and again, coached people through it, and those people have subsequently coached people through it as well, then the 48 Days Eagles community is for you. Periodically, I record podcasts that are inspired by the Rudder of the Day, a book written by Dan Miller, author of 48 Days to the Work You Love. And this community is largely built upon and around. I've begun, like today, utilizing a devotional strength for today for inspiration as well, along with 365 Tao by Deng Ming Dao. These are great ways to spend your morning, the golden hour. You begin your day on the right foot with the right intention. And you set the intention for the rest of the day, for the rest of the week. And like we read this morning, there is a lot of evidence that we can lead our thinking with our actions. That's an interesting way to think about it. But think about it. There is a lot of evidence that we can lead our thinking with our actions. So, walk strong. Walk with a spring in your step. Pull your shoulders back. Keep your head up. Smile. And also remember that the greater part of our happiness or misery depends on our dispositions and not on our circumstances. Well, that's it, my friends. I sincerely appreciate you taking the time out of your day to spend it with me and mine, listening to the show. If you like what you heard, I mentioned a lot about it previously, the Telegram group, but do check it out, t.me/allaroundgrowth. I'd love to see you there. If you're not really interested in the group, I get it. But if you're interested in providing some feedback to the show, or to me, if there's something you'd like me to talk about or share on anonymously or by name, however you like, just drop me an email, allaroundgrowth@gmail.com. I'd love to hear from you. I appreciate your time. I hope you have a great day. This is Rob Kaiser, and thank you.